Okay, so this is Shilpa here, and I'm coming to that magic time of the year, the first quarter, for my patients, for my students in my academies, my members in my homeopathic network. After my annual break in December and January, this is when naturally all my thoughts seems to go towards the rest of the year, or maybe reflecting on the prior years and looking at this year. So this is my 25th year since I started my homeopathic journey as a medical doctor. So I thought I'll do a 6-part series for you as I embark into my 25th year in the homeopathic practice. As I start this special year around planning, around achievements, and about creating a life you want. Because the word that's on my mind right now is intention. So, when I started out 25 years ago, and I'm sure you've heard the story by now, it was pretty much, frustration, overwhelm. In that first year of my practice, I was really struggling. I had a medical degree in homeopathy, but I hadn't had any real success. I had no patients or any substantial income, and I was about to sort of give up in that second year. Now, come now to this year, and I've got this successful global homeopathic practice. I've built a highly successful training academy for homeopathic and natural therapy practitioners for many years with trainers, and we have around 25,000 people around 74 countries who are now training in this academy. Now, I've become a leader in the homeopathic and online training industry. I've conducted these huge online workshops, courses. I've just done one of the biggest summits for my academy. I'm also the author of the world's most user-friendly homeopathic software, and on and on. So I have thousands and thousands of patients and students, and life has turned around. By my measure, I have been extremely successful. But when I think back on how did this shift happen, I think it was way back in 2001, really. So that was when it was all starting to happen for me. Or you could say I had just begun to take my baby steps. At that time, I was recently married. And it was, one day, I found this book in a tiny bookstore by Stephen Covey. It was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And as I picked up this book and I started reading it, and I was hooked on. Stephen used this phrase, rescripting your life and aligning yourself to the principle center, the principles that are universal and timeless. And at that point, I was not very empowered within my life. I was sort of drifting along. Yes, at that point, I had a homeopathic medical degree. I had just married the man of my dreams, and I was excited about our life ahead. And there was some great things going on for me, but I really didn't feel like I had much direction in my life or my practice. And then I read that idea of, rescripting your life by cultivating the habits of successful people while remaining true to universal principles and natural laws. Really interesting. I was like, wow, does that actually happen? Does it work? So I started to, chip away at it, and I started to come up with strategies to align my life and business to universal laws. So what I've learned over the years, both from this book and many other life experiences and many other beautiful books later on, as I look back, I've gotten to know a lot of super successful people, amazingly successful people. And I've looked at the commonalities among them and the commonalities among people that I see are not having that much success. And what I see tends to be, there are a lot of different things, but one of them is this idea, this realization that you can change your circumstances, whatever they are. And if you are going to change your circumstances, I think the best way to do is intentionally controlling your focus and directing it towards what we really, really want. Now, It's actually looking at your life and the areas in your life and saying, what do I really want my life to be like in that area? Or what do I want my physical health to look like? What do I want my relationship with my partner, with my children to look like? What do I want the relationships with my family to look like? What do I want my practice to look like, my business to look like? And what sort of income and lifestyle I'm looking at. So you basically start to create a vision in each of those areas for what you want. So you can then start to align your habits and your life around that intentionally. You're not just drifting along. So if you really look, we reactively live the scripts handed through genetics, our earlier years, our family, other people's agendas, circumstances around us. And if you look right now, our digitized world is getting really, really great at pulling our intention away from us, at controlling what our experience of the world is. And today we are in this 24/7. I mean, thanks to technology, through social media platforms like Facebook and Google and Instagram, there's plenty of such companies that have thousands of engineers that are spending all their time trying to create an environment for you where they grab your attention, they control your intention. And that's not to make them bad people. I mean, it's just their business, their job. That's what they're paid to do. The more your attention they can grab and hold, the more they're paid. That's the way those companies make money, right? But they are extremely intentional about creating these super immersive environments that are addictive. And that's what they've planned for you. In a way, we have never seen before in the history of the world where a group of people, a group of engineers, a group of business people are trying so hard to grab your attention and have you move through the day like a zombie. And the only way you can fight this is by putting your effort into re-scripting your life and intentionally living your life and your experiences throughout the day, putting as much effort into it as they are putting into grabbing your attention or holding your attention. So, like I've said, I've got about 6 videos for you. And who knows, maybe we'll go deeper, we'll see. But I just wanted to give you one example of intention that I've had in my area of physical health. It's been almost 8 years now. So I've been doing this thing called intermittent fasting. And what that means is right now, so it's evolved through the years, but at this point, since about the last 2 or 3 years, 5 days a week from Monday to Friday, I eat once a day. So I'll usually go around 23 hours without eating. Basically, it's super simple. So all I do is when I eat my lunch, then I go 23 hours until I eat the next day. Now, I'm not saying that you should be doing this. It's just something I've been doing. I'm not the world's greatest expert on this, but I've read a lot and I've researched a lot. And there are lots of people who are experts on this, but I'm not the only person doing this. But I just wanted to share. I'm not doing it for weight loss. I'm doing it for overall long-term health. I'm convinced through my research, it might help me in my overall general health, well-being, and, impact. So what I've noticed is it's made me super intentional about food. Because before I'll eat my 3 meals a day, and then maybe I'll have some morning or afternoon tea. And, then when I'm meeting out people for coffee, I'll eat a bit of, a biscuit or a muffin. So now I know that I intentionally have a good, wholesome lunch that covers all my essential macronutrients for the day. And then I'm fulfilled for an entire day. I mean, I drink lots of water and minerals and broth to keep myself hydrated through the day. And I could have just, black coffee or tea when I'm meeting out people. But it just makes me think twice about what I'm putting in my mouth instead of, just grabbing something and putting in my mouth. So I've become really super intentional about food. And you know what? Now it's become a natural part of my habit and my lifestyle. And the thing about being intentional is being intentional in one area is leading me to be intentional in each other area of my life, and it becomes a snowball effect. So instead of just grabbing your phone or instantly opening up WhatsApp or Facebook, and then all of a sudden 30 minutes are gone, as you flip through those photos and flip through those things, and you know what, you probably don't feel any better after you've spent half an hour on that. So what I'm saying is, as you get more intentional in one area, you end up becoming more intentional in every area. So that's what I've got for you today. I invite you, as we move along this year, to be in control of your focus and about your reflection on the past year. Reflect back and say, what worked well? What do I want to do differently this year? And then I suggest you might want to become more intentional for this year and plan out what is going to change and what you want to bring more and what you want to attract into your life and into this year. So I'm Shilpa Baraskar. Wherever you're watching this, scroll down, leave me a comment, and I'll get you the next episode next week. Thank you so much.